Hey guys, it's Mike Panna of Mighty Warrior Martial Arts, and this video is going to be designed for those college kids or the soon-to-be college kids this upcoming fall semester. Now, if you're watching this video, you probably fall into one of two categories, right? You're probably one, a concerned mom or dad who has a son or daughter going off to school in the fall, and you're worried, frankly, about them being safe while they're away. Maybe your son or daughter is going to be in college for the first time as a freshman, and they're going to be away from home for the first time, and you're nervous about them, being away from home and having to fend for themselves, how to keep them safe while they're away. That's probably the first group that's watching this. The second group that's watching this is you're probably a young person about to go off to school or go back to school in the fall, and your mom or dad sent you this video so you can educate yourself as to how to be safer away from school. And I know you're probably watching this video saying, who's this guy with the golden sun on his shirt talking all this stuff? This is so stupid, why did my parents send me this? Just please bear with me for the next few minutes. I promise you it will not be boring, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks and some advice as how you can stay safer while you're away at school this year. The first thing I want to talk about is basic acceptance and awareness, right? I think our society falls into this, especially if you grew up in the suburbs like I did, right? I come across so many people who grew up in the middle class, upper middle class life, and they assume that violence will just never happen to them, right? And they assume this because they never saw it growing up. They've never seen it throughout their life. And the only fight that they probably saw was probably a fist fight in third grade on the playground, right? But they've never seen any type of assault. And by the way, these are good things, right? The fact that you have not seen violence in your life is a good thing, right? But as you go off to school, young people, right, you're no longer gonna be in mommy and daddy's house anymore. You're gonna be on your own for the first time in your life. And I remember as a freshman in college, that was like the best time of my life. I was able to go where I wanted to go, wake up when I wanted to wake up, do basically whatever I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. But with that freedom comes a sense of responsibility, because now my personal security now falls on me. Mommy and daddy aren't there to bail me out anymore. All right, I'm now an adult. I need to be able to take care of myself. That includes being able to protect yourself. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about again is just accepting the fact that violence is a reality, right? It's not fun to talk about, but it's a reality. Okay, the sooner you accept this, you as a parent or a young person watching this accepts the reality that violence is real, then we can proceed. Right? Because if you don't believe, if you're in denial that violence is a thing, you're not going to watch this video. But odds are if you're watching this video, you probably have some idea that violence is real, whether you've seen it or not, and you won't be prepared for it, right? So once you accept the reality that violence actually exists, right, we have to talk about awareness, right? We need to be aware, right? And you'll hear this in self-defense, catalogs, self-defense books, and all these videos on YouTube talking about awareness. But when we talk about awareness, what does it mean, right? So for simplicity's sake, right, awareness really falls into two basic things. One, know where you're at, get your head and your eyes out of your phone, take the AirPods off, whatever these things are called, take them off, and be aware in the moment of where you're at. Get your face out of the smartphone. I'm filming this on a smartphone, by the way, so I'm not trying to sound self-righteous. I use my smartphone too, but the problem is when you're out in public and you're looking at your phone, your vision is really blocked off to this little rectangle in front of you, right, which leaves you susceptible to attack, right? So get your head out of your phone, be aware of where you're at. Take a look around. Take a breath, take a look around. Know where you're at. Are you walking through a parking lot, right? What do you hear? What do you see? Be aware of your surroundings. And the second aspect is yourself. You need to be self-aware. That you need to be aware of your beliefs, right? I remember as a kid, I was told, keep your hands to yourself, don't hit anybody, right? But what if you're presented with a situation where hitting somebody is the only option to survive that altercation? You may have to hit this person to save your own life or the life of someone you care about. Your beliefs really do matter. What you believe in matters. And you have to understand your belief systems and your belief structures so that you understand how to properly view fighting and protecting yourself. Because if you really believe that violence is bad in all cases, you're probably not going to protect yourself using violence, right? So please make sure that you are aware of not just your skill sets, but also what your beliefs are regarding self-defense and fighting. Right? Because whatever those are, it's going to impact your pursuit of the skill set to learn how to fight. It's also going to impact your ability or your inability to fight. All right? It all comes down to what's in here, right? So we have to make sure of that. The true goal of self-defense training is to never have to use it. I know that sounds super cliche and super paradoxical, but it's true. For the most part, you should be avoiding trouble, right? So when I was in college, I was avoiding frat parties because that's where a lot of drunken fights happen. I was avoiding walking down the street at night as much as possible by myself because that's how a lot of muggings and altercations happen. If you want to be truly safe, the best self-defense is to not be there in the first place. So avoidance is everything. Avoid, avoid, avoid. If someone calls you a nasty name or calls your mom or your girlfriend something, walk away. It's not worth it, right? Avoid situations as much as possible. Do not put yourself in situations where you may be susceptible to being attacked, right? Walking down the street at night by yourself on your phone, not paying attention to your surroundings, right? Kind of just haphazardly walking through town, not knowing any of the routes or the exits or anything like that. Make sure that you have a plan, right? And the biggest plan is to avoid confrontation. It's going to keep you out of trouble. It's going to keep you out of legal trouble, especially. It's also going to keep you safer, right? So the first thing I want to emphasize is avoidance. Avoid, avoid, avoid. All right? Avoid situations, violent situations as much as possible. Especially in today's day and age where violence is just getting crazier and crazier, you want to make sure that you're avoiding those situations. So now if you kind of hash that out and you know what you want to do, right, let's talk about basic tools, right? So these are not, there's so many people talking about pepper spray. Should I carry pepper spray? Should I carry, this or that? There's a lot of things I think a person can carry for self-protection and self-defense. But I'm going to talk about 3 items right now that you can carry regardless of if you are in a college setting or an airplane or whatever. You can carry these basically anywhere, right? And these are designed pretty much to keep you safe. The first one I want to talk about is a flashlight. Now, I talk about flashlights a lot because a lot of assaults tend to happen in the dark at night. And if you can just illuminate an area with a basic handheld flashlight, one, it keeps you in that first mode of awareness, right? Your environmental awareness. You can actually see what's going on around you. And second of all, you have a handy little tool, self-defense item, that you can use to blind somebody, right? Or use it as a pocket stick-like device to strike someone. Now, I have numerous videos on our YouTube channel. Just go a few videos back. You'll probably see some pocket stick type videos, flashlight fighting videos that we have. But this is a really great device because, again, it's a simple flashlight. You use it to light up a room, right? You can use it to blind an attacker, right? Hit them and get away, right? Really great tool. And also, they're legal. It's just a flashlight, right? So definitely a great investment. This is a Streamlight flashlight. They got a ton of great flashlights. And I recommend them to all my students. They're not paying me to say this. I'm just saying it because I happen to have one in my hand and I carry it. So Streamlight, great piece of kit, great piece of self-defense EDC, everyday carry material, right? The other thing I'll do is show a backpack. This is one of the backpacks I have. And the other thing I want to talk about, especially in the day and age that we find ourselves in regarding active shooters and things like that, is body armor. Now, this may sound crazy, but this is actually not that crazy at all. I want to show this really quick because this is actually something that I recommend my wife has in the diaper bag. This is just a piece of soft armor from Premier Body Armor. Again, they're not paying me to talk about this. I'm just saying this is a really great piece of kit. It's really lightweight, very thin. This is designed to stop handgun rounds. Primarily active shooters tend to use, especially in a college setting. If we saw what happened at Virginia Tech a little over a decade ago, we probably saw what this shooter did. He had handguns, right? So this actually stops handgun rounds. It won't stop rifle rounds, but it'll stop handgun rounds. Now, if you want something that will stop rifle rounds, you kind of have to carry something a little more robust and heavier than this. But I think this is a really great place to start because it's very lightweight. It feels almost like a thick notebook. But you just slip it into the laptop pocket of your backpack, and it just kind of sits back there. If I can just do this right here, and it's super light. You just sit it back there, and you're good to go. Right? You can wear it either on your back, either running away from a threat with both arms through, right, which I won't do now because you guys won't know what that looks like. Or you can wear it in the front. If you have an ability to wear this from the front to protect your heart, protect your vital organs from the front, this is actually a really cool thing to have, all right? Again, it's not perfect. It doesn't stop all types of rounds, but it's better than nothing. And especially given that a lot of the active shooter situations that we see in recent years, a lot of them are done with handguns. So this is really, really good to have, all right? So having some backpack armor is great. It's also TSA legal. I carried this on an airplane recently, totally fine, all right? The next thing I want to talk about, all right, is a tourniquet, all right? This is a blue tourniquet. Gosh, I'm forgetting which company made this. I'll probably put it in the show notes at some point in the description box of this video. But this tourniquet actually has some Kevlar lining in it. It's very, very strong. If you don't know what a tourniquet is, it's basically a device that's designed to prevent arterial bleeding, specifically in the brachial artery and the femoral artery. This is actually really, really important to have. It's legal to carry anywhere you go. And again, with active shooters or whatever violent threats you might face, learning how to save your own life or the life of someone you care about using a tourniquet is essential. Right? There's a lot of videos, a lot of resources on YouTube to learn how to use one of these. They're really painful to put on yourself, but it's important to try it on yourself. I highly recommend you get 2 tourniquets, one for everyday carry and one for practice, because you don't want to wear out the elasticity, the rigidity of your tourniquet by practicing with it, right? Because you need it to be as strong as possible and as tight as possible to save your life or the life of a loved one in the event of a violent altercation, right? So usually have one of these for practice, one of these for training purposes. And again, they're super lightweight. They're kind of bulky to carry in your pocket, but in your backpack, as I demonstrated right now, I just took it out. It weighs next to nothing, and it's legal to carry pretty much anywhere, right? Check out a lot of the YouTube channels online about this regarding how to apply a tourniquet. If you want to practice, I recommend getting a large, thick pool noodle, and you can practice those reps repeatedly on a pool noodle so you know how to apply it. Okay, very, very important to know how to use and carry, okay? So yeah, those are just 3 items that I highly recommend that every college student carries, all right? A basic flashlight, I carry a Streamlight, that's what I like. A tourniquet, and some backpack body armor. Those 3 things alone will keep you prepared for the vast majority of altercations that you may see. But let's talk about physical skills for fighting, right? Now, a lot of people will attend a self-defense course for 2 or 3 hours and think that they're good, right? Men and women alike, right? But in reality, we need to understand that it's a lot more complicated than that. We need to understand that while it's important to have some basic fighting skills, and while I could show you some martial arts skills right now, you can just actually go on our YouTube channel after this video, just look at our instructionals. We have a ton of instructionals in Filipino martial arts, empty hand training, self-defense moves that we post on this YouTube channel. There's no shortage of that on this YouTube channel or on YouTube in general, right? But it's not enough to just watch YouTube videos. It's important to actually practice these skill sets regularly, or some kind of combative skill set regularly. So I recommend to all the college age students watching this, when you go on campus, if you're serious about protecting yourself, join a martial arts club or a combat sports club. The reason why I say this is because it'll give you a cost-effective, mostly free opportunity to train on a regular basis weekly. You'll get to make friends on campus, get in shape, which prevents the freshman 15 for the most part. For me, it was like a freshman 20, but training saved me from that to some degree, right? And you want to make sure that you're developing these combat skills consistently throughout every single week. So I recommend a martial arts club that's focused in a functional fighting martial art. Again, I have nothing against like Tai Chi or Wushu or any of those arts, right? I think they're great. I think they're fantastic and impressive, but they're not geared for fighting and self-defense, right? So I recommend you find a club that's focused on that. So if you can find a Filipino martial arts club like there is at Rutgers University, for example, in New Jersey, in Brunswick, New Jersey, they have that. In fact, I met a lot of my friends back in the day and a lot of my current students back in the day, right now, my current students now, through that club, right? I didn't go to Rutgers, I just was brought on to teach at that place, at their Filipino martial arts club quite often. And I actually got a chance to meet a lot of great people, including the students that I have to this day, right? So join a Filipino martial arts club, which is excellent. Join a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu club, if there is one, a wrestling club, a boxing club, even if they have something like a Krav Maga club, something, anything. Those arts tend to be focused more on fighting, right? So please take the advantage of having this campus resource, right? This basically mostly free campus resource, and join these clubs, right? Not only will you learn how to protect yourself, but you'll create a social circle, which is important, right? You'll develop friendships that will last a lifetime. I know it's worked for me, all right? So again, let's reiterate, let's go back, right? So if you want to stay safe while at school, right? Remember, awareness is key. This is super important. Environmental awareness, awareness of your situation that you find yourself in, as well as awareness of what you believe about self-defense. This video, again, is not designed to teach you how to become a John Wick or a Jane Wick. This is designed to kind of change your mind regarding self-defense and for self-protection, right? Secondly, some items that you can carry. Soft body armor for your backpack, a tourniquet, and a flashlight. Those 3 will carry you a long way. Hopefully you never have to use them, but it's just good to have them in case you need it, right? And the third thing is take up a martial art while you're at school, right? I recommend the Filipino martial arts. That's where I come from. That's what I do. But I highly recommend the Filipino martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, any of these arts that are geared toward fighting another human being will definitely be an asset to you to better protect yourself, or to teach you how to better protect yourself. All right, guys, so if you have any questions, shoot them in the comments below. You can also shoot me an email at bayaniwarrior@gmail.com. Take care. God bless and be the hero in your life.